Friends, today I welcome on a very special guest. I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation, potentially a little bit controversial. It's on my part because of how I see certain things. But today we're going to have a talk with Irina Tarasenko. And she is a registered psychologist in some of your favorite towns, everyone. Kelowna. I still haven't been there, Arena, but I know many of my followers go there a lot. So, a couple of weeks ago in August, Arena, I came across one of your reels and I went, no way. I need to talk to this woman about this. The reel specifically was discussing at what cost do women sacrifice everything to be successful or to even appear what we would deem successful nowadays?
Mm.
And it's something that I consider a lot with myself. I like to think I am somewhat successful, and because of that, I'm quite busy. I go a lot. I have a husband, two kids. As we spoke about, I'm an immigrant, so I don't have family here to help with the kids or anything. So it's like I do everything and I go, go, go. And sometimes my body will tell me, just stop. And if it's not my body, my mind is going to tell me you can't keep going like this. And then I speak to my clients, and some of them very, very successful women running multiple businesses, running magazines. Like they just, but they're crying out to me to help them because they're suffering with this, 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 and this. And there's usually an element there of unhappiness as
Mm.
well. And I'm like, well, hold on. I thought you were super successful. You like have all this success, the money to go along with it, but you don't have the health and you don't have the happiness, and your marriage is falling apart, and you're struggling with your kids, and they're not getting what they need from you. Hold on, like, where is this disconnect? And then when I saw your reel, I reached out to you and I said, can we please talk about this? This is such an important topic right now. Yeah, the hormones and all are getting the limelight right now everywhere. But what about just this consideration? So,
Mhm.
please, first, before we get into it, just introduce yourself a little bit more than what I already did.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm Irina. I am also an immigrant coming from Moldova. Immigrated to Canada about 18 years ago and registered as a psychologist in British Columbia and Alberta with private practice now for about 13 years, serving clients with mental health issues. And I do see that as well with my clients where a lot of the times for the high achieving women, there is a mental health and physical toll on them for trying to navigate, I would say, two significant worlds in their life
Mhm.
where they have expectations and obligations and responsibilities with their careers, but also that side of family and personal life that is quite demanding as well. And it's just a matter of time that is going to slow them down to make them have to ask themselves the question, what am I missing? What is that I'm not looking into? And what is a priority for me? Because obviously, mentally, physically, I cannot keep going like that. So I do see that with my clients as well, especially women that are high achieving women.
So this reel that you put out on August 27th, it was, I double checked.
Mhm.
Uh, Something must have happened in your day or in your life in that moment that made you like say, I need to do this. I need to do this reel. Do you remember what happened on that day?
It maybe was that that inner battle in my mind that still happens to me as well, where it's conflicting needs and desires that show up in the day, where it's do I go and, create some more content and, read and put that strain on myself right now to sacrifice taking a time to rest or to connect to myself or to just allow myself 15 half an hour to be present. So there's that battle that we all have in our mind where there's conflicting um, requirements or desires that we have to find a way to navigate it well. And then there was a time when I wasn't thinking this way. I wasn't looking at that. So it was always like, no, go do and you can, and not looking at the sacrifice part, right? That unfortunately I had to experience the consequences of that. So my health was going down. I was not in any routine of taking care of myself physically, mentally, and I could not go on like that. At the same time, there's this desires of building something amazing in my life, of achieving this next steps and going into different kinds of programs and coaching. And I know I can do them all. I'm smart enough. I'm capable. But then it cannot continue on at the sacrifice of my own well-being. And I had to learn to slow down,
Mhm.
to include myself into that day, into that high desires that I have for myself, for my family, so that I am also part of how I do things, where I've got my own needs. I've got my state of mind or emotional state, because we women go through ups and downs, right? That I need to take into account as well. So I think it was more of like needing to speak that out so that another woman that sees it may feel encouraged to slow down.
Hmm. So the question really is, and the question that came up in the reel was, at what cost? What is the price we're paying for as women specifically nowadays to be something, to have
Mhm.
some sort of success, to be someone? I'd argue that a lot of us strive to create and make content, and we have to be successful and we have to do all the courses because we want to be recognized as someone. And I'm sure there's a deep dark rabbit hole there of why do you feel you need to be recognized? I'm sure that goes back to childhood and whatnot. But we need to be successful. Like not every woman, but a lot of us. And we also want to still have kids and a husband and take care of our house and look a certain way. And at what cost? What price are many of us paying to be
Mhm.
successful, to have our own businesses, uh, and I don't care if someone says, not that I don't care, but to me it's almost irrelevant. If you
Mhm.
say, but I love this and I love that and I enjoy this, okay, but at the same time you have this and this health issue, or your mental health is struggling, or I can see you're genuinely unhappy.
Mhm.
Uh, there's that is my big question. At what cost are women willing to pay for
Mhm.
success? And it's something I have asked myself a lot over the last year and a half. I've cut back on different aspects of my work a lot because I'm like, this just isn't worth it anymore. It's stressing me out. Then I'm getting super sick. I went through a stage last spring
Mhm.
2024, where I was so stressed, and certain people that I worked with, and I recognize these people now that I won't work with them again, but I hadn't put in boundaries. I think I spent 3 months with chronic diarrhea nonstop, no matter what I ate when I went on vacation, because the stress response was just so high. And I'm like, hold on, I can't keep doing this. Like, this has to stop. So I start putting in boundaries and cutting out certain things. But that's just one thing. I could list other things. And I know many women can, from hormonal issues to the
Mhm.
weight gain to not sleeping, all because they're grinding and hustling and go, go, go because they want to be successful. And then the question begs, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Mhm. Right. So there is a mental health and physical health cost, obviously, which you've experienced, but it's also like studies and experiments that have been conducted speaking to that as well, where women in high achieving roles will report more stress and experience burnout more than men do. Then there is the higher level of depression for women at higher level of a career achievement, which again is something that is different for men. Men in positions of authority experience the opposite. They show less depressive symptoms than women do. So we can't keep ignoring this cost that is there, that's already been kind of put into evidence, and continue to do this to ourselves. So there is a way of how women react to more responsibilities, higher level of tension, trying to navigate home life, work life, all sorts of stereotypes in the workplace. Because as you climb the ladder, it's also that fine line that you'd either be liked or be criticized for being competent as too aggressive. So that puts you into a position of constantly having to monitor your behaviors and how you're perceived by others. So that puts a lot on their mental health as well. So and the physical toll, as you said, the sleep disturbance, many women start to experience as they progress with their careers, physical fatigue, like that chronic fatigue that may also be there. So um, those are all signs of something's not being taken care of. Something's been ignored, something's been sacrificed. That is very, very important because if we look at our longevity or like a sustainable life, would this contribute to a healthy aging? Or is that going to create more issues down the road for our life? And another aspect here is family life, relationships. There's a study, or it actually was more of like a paper review where they looked at 1,200 middle-aged men and 1,500 middle-aged women, and they saw that as women in higher achieving roles, they're more likely to be single, to be divorced, have fewer children, and also still have more housework responsibilities. So is that the price that we are paying? Is that what we don't prioritize, or is that not relevant and not as important for us to be able to actually sacrifice? Or is that something that hurts us so deep that in the end, we'd have to prioritize, we have to look back into what is our life moving forward if we keep going like that?
These women, then, you would wonder, are they happy? Do they die alone with many regrets? And there's a big push for this. I think, oh, I can't remember the name of some celebrity was pushing that. She's in her 50s and she's like,
Mhm.
oh, it's amazing being single with no kids. And I think this is the wrong message you should be giving to young women. But are they happy? Do they have regret? Like, can they I'm sure many people can say, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm happy. But honestly, if you're honest with yourself, if you're truly honest, are you happy? Now, before I go on, I just want to add in for the audience, by no means are we trying to make anyone feel guilty for wanting success or for having an amazing career or being ambitious. We're not telling you you should quit everything and just pack up and go live in the forest. But we're just trying to have a conversation that I don't see happening anywhere. And then with these women, so I'm not just thinking of women like me and you who are teachers or
Mhm.
coaching people or whatever. We're women in like high-rise buildings, offices, in stock exchange, in oil and gas, like whatever it is. It could be any position. then they feel the need that they have to be look a certain way. They have to lose weight. They have to go to the gym. So then they're going from the office to the gym, pushing themselves, then bringing their kids to sports. Then it's just go, go, go all the time. It's just something I've spoke about that it's not the same as Europe. We don't do it like that in Europe, but you see here, and it's this constant need to keep moving. I have to keep moving. I can't stop. And
Mhm.
then we know that divorce rates are through the roof, like you mentioned, especially in middle-aged women, mid 40s, 50s, because then steps in the wonderful perimenopause and hormonal changes. And
Mhm.
I would argue it's not all the hormonal changes issue that's causing the divorce. I don't think it is. I think back to what you were saying about women and men, women were designed to be a certain way. We are not as resilient as men on every level. And when men succeed, that fuels them to go forward because they feel that sense of achievement and purpose and they're providing. And that was always men's role. Women were supposed to be, as I say to my husband, we're supposed to be protected and treated like roses. Like,
Mhm.
yes, we can prick you if you annoy us, but otherwise, we're very delicate. We should be taking care of ourselves and the family and the home. Because what do we see now, Irina? Society is almost collapsing. Divorce
Mhm.
rates are up. Our children have more mental health issues than they've ever had.
Mhm.
We know through the stats that when the family, the nuclear family, breaks,
Yes.
children have more issues and then that just ripples into their children and there's like this I've got goosebumps because I think this is such an important conversation. And again, I'm not trying to make women feel guilty for their choices. Lord knows I'm a high achiever, but I've had to step back. And I have many clients who have said, look, I've considered what you're saying and I'm going to stop this part of my life, or I've decided to close this part of my business. And they're really putting it into context now. Is my marriage failing? Not because my husband's a prick. It's because I'm so short-tempered, because I'm burned out all the time and I don't have time for my kids. My kids are suffering. I'm unhappy. I'm turning to junk food and comfort food and wine in the evening because again, I'm unhappy. And this is like, again, a big conversation. It's so important.
Absolutely, yes. And it's so interesting you're talking about like the effect of that on family, the children and their mental health. I was for many years looking for like we're seeing all of this mental health issues in the society on the rise. And to me was like, what is the um where would I be most efficient to tackle this issue at the root cause, right? Is it, addressing the child as they develop and providing them enough support so that they mature into resilient, thriving human beings and strong mentally individuals? And for many years, I was thinking like, we need a parenting school. Like, we need a place where parents would go to learn what it is to be a parent, what are acceptable and healthy parenting tools and strategies. And then I revisited that, thinking that looking at the marriages and looking at the family unit, like the couple, and where it is right now with its health, I think this is the root cause of
Hmm.
even that child having any mental health issues later on. So I started to shift a little bit like where I want to contribute and see myself supporting into supporting the woman in the marriage and equipping her to take care of her. First of all, I think that it's healing her wounds because we all have our wounds growing up, whether that was, from a family that never acknowledged you, didn't show affection to you, or maybe you felt rejected in the family, or maybe there was abuse of some form. that needs to be healed first because it's inevitable that we're going to bring old unhealthy dysfunctional patterns into the relationship, and that is kind of paired with our spouse's unhealthy patterns because they also have their own wounds. So I would say for a woman to become, first of all, to be happy, because that's what you mentioned, right? Like we in the end not feel happy and not satisfied and everything's kind of falling apart. How to lead to that place of a happy wife, happy woman is taking responsibility for healing your own wounds,
Mhm.
doing something that is going to allow you to free yourself from all of the unforgiveness, whatever was done to you that was not acceptable. You find a way to heal that through maybe help from some professional or faith. Many people, find that support and help through. But that is number one responsibility for a woman.
Mhm.
Then is starting to take care of her needs. She has physical needs, mental health needs, relationship needs. And what are those? And look at how do I take care of that? What is that I need to do? Not my spouse, not the environment, not the circumstance, not the workplace, but me. I, as a responsible, mature adult, have to do to take care of my own needs
Mhm. And
and start to look into how's that going to look in the relationship? How's that going to look for my physical health? Because a strong body leads to a strong spirit.
Yeah. And that also includes like, do I need to ask for help as well? Do I need to ask my husband to help me? Do I need to ask my family while I'm going through this time to help me and not feel bad about asking help? But it also, in some cases, may be a case for some women to say, actually, do I need to reassess my career path right now? Is
Mhm.
this still something I should do? Should I take on extra work? Should I create this extra course? Like, am I already successful in paying the bills and what I'm doing? Do I need to do more? And you said
Mhm.
two other really important things there that I just want to highlight. The first was
Mhm.
we get to a stage where everything's falling apart.
Mhm.
Because those are powerful words. I know many women are like, yeah, it's shit show right now. It's just falling apart. And then
Mhm.
the other thing is taking responsibility, though. And a lot of people don't take responsibility for many things in their life, but in regards to their happiness,
Mhm.
you have to take responsibility. And whether or not that means you need to cut back on some work, you need
Mhm.
to prioritize yourself. Maybe you need to prioritize your nutrition and your health because, like you said, a strong, healthy body leads to a strong, healthy mind as well. Go ahead, because I'll keep.
Absolutely. No, totally. So, taking responsibility is such a big first step because who can, first of all, know your needs, about your needs? Like who, even your spouse that you have, hopefully have a good, healthy, strong relationship. Is he able to know what's going on and what you're lacking and how you sleep at night and what does your body feel like in the morning or during that cycle? No, so it's you taking, first of all, tuning in to know what that is inside. I think my dog is barking at the door.
I can't hear it. I can't hear it.
Okay, you can't. All right, good. Yeah, so as you're tuning in, you're discovering what those things are. And then you are the one to take care of that. Find out if you need more support. If, let's say, you feel you're not quite secure, you feel that you need somebody else to always make you feel happy, to make you feel good and peaceful. It speaks to something. It speaks to not being able to recognize what you need and not knowing what tools to use to soothe yourself,
Mhm.
to help yourself restore that disbalance that was created. Those are questions that are so important because who is a person that can let's say we'll call a resilient person. A resilient person is the one that knows and can recognize what is happening. They can tune in with themselves and figure out what is happening, what is are the emotions and what are the needs, and also knows what to do to help themselves in that moment where they are.
Mhm. And
Um, yeah.
I was just going to say, and they they keep going while at the same time taking care of themselves.
hmm Yes, absolutely. So they include themselves in. So that would mean sometimes I need to pause. Sometimes I need to ask my teenage girls to step in and cook something because mom has worked 8, 9 hours today and I need a break or a transition from work life to family life. And they are hungry and they need dinner, but at the same time, they know a couple of things to cook for themselves, right? So I can ask them and I should not feel guilty for doing that, right?
That's a
Uh,
case of sorry to cut you off. That's a case
mhm,
of like if you want me to be the best mom or partner for you, I need you to help me to take care of myself as well. Like
exactly.
I can't show up for you if I'm not taken care of.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And kids can also see how mom and dad take time to connect. So sometimes we take off for 2 nights to go to the hot springs with my husband, and my kids are old enough to be home, take care of themselves, but they know that is mom and dad time, that's their time, and they already understand that they need that. So we can respect and we can look at that as part of how we do life and how we do family, that occasionally, periodically, they will take some time off for themselves.
Mhm.
When I, again, setting boundaries for transitioning from home, from work to home, is so important. And I understand how many times moms don't quite allow themselves for that break or that transition time. And when they get home, they just let the family just bombard them and take over, with their needs and all of the things that they want mom to do. And if that is overwhelming, that feels that you're kind of going on your last resources, you need to do something about it. You need to create a transition time. You need to ask and educate your family to not continue to exhaust you when you're kind of at the end of your, let's say, energy
Mhm.
before you recharge, and to allow yourself to recharge. But who's going to do that if, first of all, you don't think this is okay? You judge it for yourself and you think you still need to give and you have to be available all the time. And you don't recognize that you're in that mood. What you recognize is that you're irritable, you're snappy, you are short, you're grumpy. That is what you recognize. But there was things leading up to that that we have to allow ourselves times to, again, look inside and ask ourselves what is going on to help ourselves.
I think one of the best things a woman can do every day, if you can, for a few seconds, even just in the bathroom, in the car before you get out. Just sit with yourself for a minute and just go from head to toe. First, how do I feel physically? Any aches, pains, headaches, blah, blah, blah. But how am I feeling emotionally? Am I exhausted? Am I feeling a bit weepy? Am I feeling overwhelmed, worn down? Or am I feeling, this is a really good day? This is great. Like most women are not connecting with themselves. So
Mhm,
that's the responsibility you were talking about. And I would argue that's the first step in
mhm,
responsibility is recognizing it and then taking the action, which is next. I'll say to women, I get it. We both get it. We're immigrants, we've kids, we've husbands. Sometimes it's chaotic. Not so much now that they're older. My kids are older too, so it starts to calm down a bit. But we do get it. But sometimes you almost have to be hard on yourself in a sense of stepping out of your body and treating yourself as the third person and saying, no, you have to say no now. You need to tell everybody no, go for your walk, go have a bath. You have to elicit that parenting factor even on yourself. And
mhm.
back to the boundaries, like set the boundaries. Otherwise, you're going to crash and burn eventually. You will. You can't keep going and going and going without paying the piper, as they say.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So it's being compassionate with yourself because you're a human being that has a soul, has a physical body, and although you're capable and smart, that doesn't mean that I can keep ignoring my needs. And they've changed throughout life, right? When we were younger, we were just so energized and I don't know about you, but when I was, raising children, small children, I was like unlimited or limitless
So,
or
yeah, because
like,
we were
and
younger.
exactly. So, and you don't have time really to tune in with yourself to know that something's off or because again, you're so young and your
You were
resource
resilient as well.
resilient and resources are at a different level with how physiologically your body is doing. Comparing to right now, after 40, things have changed so much. So I cannot keep with the same attitude and expect my body supports me the same way. I have to actually look at what is missing, what I need to replenish, as with the hormones, supplements, how I eat, how I rest, how I relax and de-stress because we live in a highly stressful world right now with how fast it's going and the demands and what is that I do consistently, regularly that helps me balance or get it down or get into that parasympathetic nervous system mode where I'm calm, I'm relaxed, I'm healing. If you have great sleep, that's amazing. That's what awesome. That's like maybe 90% or 80% of success there, but many of us in the perimenopause don't. So then if that's not sleep, what is it?
Mhm. I had a conversation with Wade Lightheart a few months ago from Bioptimizers, and I basically said to him, and I'm sure you will maybe hopefully agree. I basically said, I feel like a lot of people have forgotten how to live. They've forgotten how to live life. Most people don't have fun. I have to remind my clients, go do something fun. What do you like to do? And they're like, I never have fun. Like it's a chore in itself. So in that aspect, people have forgotten how to live. We almost think I'm living by grinding and going to work and doing the dishes and cooking and sleep. And then the next day it's the same thing. That's not living. That is that cliche
Mhm.
quote of we're surviving, we're not thriving. But a lot of people have forgotten how to stop and smell the roses and just have the fun, have the laugh. Like Irish people, huge part of our culture is to laugh, joke, we tell stories. Like that's
Mhm.
like that I try to keep that with what we do in our house and my kids. But I notice a difference, although Canadians are super nice, there's a mismatch there in the humor aspect and the lightheartedness that we carry from Ireland. I don't know what it's like in um, your home country in regards to that, but it's striking to me. Most people are just going through the motions each day. Don't do
Mhm.
anything fun, even if it's just like watching a funny movie or singing their favorite songs. They don't do that.
Yes, you're right. I can see that with my clients a lot where it's like, okay, let's create a list of things that you love doing that give you joy and that you would like to experience, maybe that you have not tried yet, but are on top of your mind. And they've got two things there.
Hmm.
Gym, which is a more common one, and mm, I don't know, hiking maybe. So, and that they don't see, and I understand how that is great, but then we have to have a variety of things there for limited time, for like resources, like you can't go out, it's right now. It's like what else? And people don't have that as a priority to figure that out and help themselves that way too. So I agree in that people just need to go back into connecting to their inner child to
Hmm.
see, you know,
What
what
did you love when you were a child?
exactly, what excited you,
Go
what
do
gave
that.
you like
Yeah.
that enthusiasm, and you can just forget about the rest of the world and just get into the activity, right?
I would argue the gym, I hear it all the time. I'm an avid gym goer. I go
Mhm.
every day. I've been a personal trainer since 2008. Like I'm a big gym person, but I would not call the gym fun. I love going to the gym because it makes me feel good. It improves my
Yeah.
confidence. It helps me continue to build my character and learn about myself. But it's not fun. But it
Hmm.
is fun when my friends are there, when we laugh and joke between sets and like there's another Irish guy goes to the gym and I have a couple of like good friends in the gym and we will shout at each other across the room and we like really laugh and joke. That's when it's fun. It's
Hmm.
not fun otherwise. And I think a lot of people confuse that because they will say the gym is fun because that's my me time.
Hmm.
That's my outlet. That's where I get to let off steam. Okay, but that's not necessarily fun in the context of going to a comedy gig or having a night with your girlfriends or something. Like that's different. That's
It
not
is.
actually fun.
Yes, you're right. Yes, it's self-care.
So okay, bear with me because I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent now for the next few minutes, and I would love your opinion on this. And this is where I'm sure there is going to be someone that's not going to be happy with what I'm about to say. The way I see it, so there is a price to pay for
Hmm.
success nowadays. If you're a woman, there is a price to pay, whether that is your health or your body weight or your marriage fails, your kids' mental health is suffering. And again, I'm not trying to blame anyone, just having this conversation. There is a price to pay somewhere.
Hmm.
Now, it was really only the late 1970s, 80s that women really started to get into like, I have to have a career, I need to be successful, I need to be a business owner. Before that, a lot of women primarily were homemakers. We stayed at home and this is my tangent, so please just bear with me. Things were obviously different then. Mortgages were more affordable. You didn't need two people working to pay a mortgage. Food was more affordable. Cars, it, we could argue things may have been a bit safer then. But anyway, women were primarily homemakers. Women were a lot healthier then. We weren't as heavy as we are nowadays. We again back to the rates of divorce and kids' mental health was a lot lower back then. And what we saw kind of was that Jane Fonda era as well, with the makeup and the hair, and the women would spend their days going to get their hair and makeup and nails done. They'd go to their aerobics class, grocery shopping, whatever, and then home to take care of the house, cook, clean. They were always home for the kids, a homemade dinner, and
Hmm.
then, when the men would come home, they would take care of their men and their men's needs. And they would have also, because we know men generally are attracted to physically beautiful women. That's the male species, that's reproduction. It's just how God made us. But so women were taking care of themselves, the house was taken care of, we were eating homemade meals, less junk food, less chemicals, toxins in our food. The men were taken care of in the evening. So your man is satisfied. Therefore, there's a less chance that the marriage is going to fail or he's going to start looking somewhere else. Not to say that men didn't have wandering eyes back then, but the rates. You can see in the statistics that the nuclear family was a lot stronger then, and the kids did not have the mental health issues they're having now. Society was a lot more solid
Hmm.
back then. And then something changed, whether or not it was part of a bigger agenda or the machine or whatever the plan was. All of a sudden, women start getting pushed into the workplace. And I know there's the argument with the feminists and women, this, that, and the other. And yes, we can work. It doesn't mean we
Hmm.
should work, though. So we
Hmm.
get pushed into the workplace, and now what happens?
Hmm.
Now the family unit falls apart. Now society falls apart because I would argue that women really are the backbone of society. We are. We are the symbol of fertility, but we also are the nurturing, loving, supporting backbone of society. So we get pushed into the workplace, mortgages go up. Now you have no choice because you need two people to pay the mortgage. You need two people to keep a house nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Now society falls apart. Now either separations and divorces happen or men go have affairs because maybe the wife is stressed and she's like super irritable. She doesn't want to be intimate. There's arguments in the house because she's stressed. Like this, you can see where I'm going with this. That now we have men and they're having babies with other women, and now these other babies, they don't have a solid family structure either. And now we've got the fathers are missing from the kids' lives, and now society collapses.
Mm.
And I, at the end of the day, think as a working career woman, as much as I want to work and I can work, maybe it doesn't mean I should work. Maybe I should be at home taking
Mm.
care. And I know that's super controversial, but maybe that's how it should be in the whole time to keep our kids and society safe and stable.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Right.
my rant.
So, see, like, at the same time, we can't go back into time and then just reverse things or apply what was, how the family was run there. Then at this stage and day and era, right? But we can adapt. So I think if we can, as women, figure out what is that path of having what we do like a career growth there, but not have that cost attached to it that is so precious, that is so big, as family, unit, as the relationship, marriage, as children's well-being, your physical, mental health. If we can figure out what that could be, that does not include that huge cost, then we would be wiser. We would find that middle and that way of adapting to what we've got, because you're right, maybe it's not possible for some families for just one person to be working to support their life, right? And that is a real case for many.
Mhm.
So then what, right? And they're forced to be in the workplace, right? And to also contribute. So then we need to figure that out. And that might also involve having a conversation with your spouse, sitting down and revising how we're doing things. What's our budget? What we spend money on? What forces us into needing to make more money? Where is the that we are spending without being conscious and aware and responsible? What are some of the things that you're going to be taking on? I will be taking on, because there's no other way for us to, work in harmony. So it's having those conversations with the spouse, with looking at the both expectations for what needs to be in the home place, for what are some of the things that are non-negotiables, that we're not going to let go of, sacrifice because they're so important to us, because those are our values. And together creating what that's going to look like. And then based on that, we adapt to how far we go, how much sacrifice, how much time we spend, do we add more or do we apply for something else? I think it has to be redesigned.
Do you think, as a society nowadays, do you think we value I'm trying to think of the word, do you think we value and or experience love in a marriage, in a relationship, the same way we did 50 years ago? Or do you think it's changed now where we almost think of love in a relationship as just almost frivolous and we will let it go willy-nilly in the aspect of separation and divorce? Not a big deal anymore. Everybody's doing it. Like, what do you think there?
Well, I think that it's in some ways has progressed nicely and good, in some other ways negatively. I think 50 years ago, I wasn't there, but 50 years ago, people were not as open to talk about their feelings. They were a lot more uh, um, I want to say, I wanted to say more romantic as to activities and actions rather than openly speaking about what's going on in their heart and, letting people in so easily uh, than today. Today, we're like, it's what is here, it's on top of our tongue and it's coming out. We're just so easily expressing things and no, don't have any like filters or hesitation around that, which is helping it with communication. At the same time, the values have changed. I think the what
Mm,
we valued then is different than what we value today, and that is what influences our actions and decisions, I believe, which as to what you expressed that we're so easy at divorce is like because again the values and what are my values, do I value like a intact family unit and will find a way to work together and treat this as there is no exit door,
hmm. Yeah.
or there is an exit door anytime. And it was actually maybe even given by my mother that said, make sure you take care of yourself and you kind of secure yourself just in case if something happens, right? So I think that it was different how the marriage was looked on at 50 years ago than today. Today, that concept of divorce and ending the relationship is a lot more acceptable.
Yeah, I wonder if people value marriage and relationships as much as we used to. Many of us know, like most of our grandparents were married for all of their lives just to each other. Like that seems to be becoming less and less common nowadays with the newer grandparents now. They're usually remarried if they have at all, but our specific grandparents didn't. They were just together,
Mhm.
and that's just how it done. So how we again value certain aspects of not just society but our lives in the whole picture of you were speaking about
Mhm.
extended family and all earlier, like it's important, it is important, but I don't think it's important to as many people as it used to be.
Mhm.
So it's clearly you can see I have a lot of thoughts that go through my head all the
Mhm.
time on everything. I also wonder of the element of love. Do we feel love the same as we used to? Is it the same? Is it as concentrated and powerful as it used to be? Even 20 years ago? Is the passion still there? Is again the value still there? Is it still super important? Or is
Mhm.
it a case of, and I've heard people say this, I don't know if I know what love is or if I've ever been in love. Like I
Mhm.
like you, but I don't know if I love you. Like it's
Mhm.
interesting.
Well, I think there's a couple of elements there. So, if I look at love as a action, as a choice and a decision, then as a feeling, as a state, right? If to love is to do something that expresses love, sometimes might involve, sacrificing, sometimes might involve like prioritizing what they need and giving and meeting them where they are, right? Um, yes, we have shifted what that means from giving, sacrificing more into I need to feel. Whatever is that I feel is I call love. And if I don't feel that sense of I'm open to you, I trust you right now in this moment, I like you and you're good to me, then I don't love.
Mhm.
And I think there's a little bit of misconception of what love is, and that's um, if that part of sacrifice and giving is not part of to love, as I see it, then we're going to get confused, right? To is this actual love, what I feel right now, or is is this something that I will never be able to maintain or stay connected to? It will always be something that comes on you and or leaves you because of what the other one is doing. So I think it shifted also to a lot of like self-gratification, self-centeredness for what I feel and what I need, and the confusion of what love is as an act, as a choice, right? And people don't want to connect that part of a choice and as an act because it would involve self-sacrifice. It will involve depart a little bit from what you feel and what you want into looking at what is the other one feeling, what is the other one's cases, and how can I attend to them? What can I do? How can I be available? Which is work.
Mhm. And there's also an element of vulnerability as
Mhm.
well there, which scares a lot of people as well. Well, if I completely open up to this person, what if I get hurt? Or what if they use this information against me or whatever? So we're afraid to even love nowadays fully to like its outermost limits.
Yes, I hear that often. It's like, how do I know? How do I know this is the person for me? This is my person.
Mm.
You will never know. You just need to believe and do the work.
Hmm. You have to take the risk. I think as immigrants, we recognize more than most people what risk is because we're leaving our homeland and our family and we're going somewhere new, scary, alone, especially with kids. It's just, it's putting yourself in the position of being loved or in love or loving someone. It is scary because you don't know if it's going to backfire, but you have to take that risk because it's the only path to finding out for sure. And even understanding yourself, am I somebody who can be loved, or do I need to make some changes myself?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And the question often needs to go back to is like, am I ready to love? Am
Mhm.
I ready to sacrifice myself, to be available, to do the things I need to do for to make this relationship work?
Mhm.
It's not just going to work as a coincidence or as an accident or as, a gift to you.
Mhm.
We know we're two different people, and some of the things are not going to work if we don't work on
Yeah.
some of what we have to work.
Oh, for sure. Like I'm married 12 years, you're married 22 years?
22, yeah.
And like as much as we love them, there's days where we want to kill them because they can be really annoying. You're never going to love everything about them. There's always something. So you would be delusional to think I have to love everything about them. No, you do. That's not possible. But people might be thinking, well, how does this connect back to our original start of the conversation and at what cost? Well, I think if it is a case where you're sacrificing your marriage and your relationship because of success, you do have to consider the topic of love in that, which is more important. Do I love this man or this woman? Do I want to stay there here? How strong is my love? Where do I hold value in it? All that. And is that more important than my career? Or is it like I could leave it or take it? My career is more important. So I think it's an important part of the conversation.
Yeah, and sometimes people don't want to see that part of conversation, right? Where am I with my feelings and what is this relationship for me? Do I value that? Continue to be there and build it with the spouse I do have, because what they're going to find they may not like, right? Because how do you want this relationship to work if you're not in it? If
Hmm.
you're don't spend quality time together, if you're not ready to look at what is that they want from me to feel loved, how can I make that happen? Where do I find the time for that? How do I connect with them at the level they understand, at the level I understand? How do we rebuild that trust if the trust is lost, right? There's all of these questions would involve a lot of work for you to do.
Mm.
And I don't know that we just love looking at that part, and embrace it, with so much excitement. People tend to avoid, to not want to look at the side of work that is ahead of them
Mhm.
to make the relationship work. So then sometimes or often people will choose not to look that so that they continue with the homeostasis or how things are working, right? Or choose not to be in marriage because that is an easier path in their mind, or because they think they're like, my spouse is such and such and doing this and all of these things that don't allow me to do my work because they constantly upset me or they're constantly not paying attention to me. But we need to remind ourselves things have led to this point. What happened that we arrived at this point of disconnection?
Mm.
And the answers would be leading to actions of yours, you doing something that makes you 50% responsible of the outcome you've
Mhm.
got in the relationship, right?
That's so common, especially on the part of women. And that part I will give an aspect of hormones to. But a lot of women, like this is back to what we said, recognizing you have a part to play too, and you need to take responsibility as well. You can't just keep pointing fingers.
Mm.
And I would argue we have to take responsibility now because we can't keep going the way we're going. Society is falling apart right now on every level. People are more unhappier than they've ever been. We're sicker than we've ever been. Marriages, divorce rates are higher than they've ever been. Mental health rates are higher than they've ever been. We're heavier than we've ever been. Like it's crumbling around us, and we need to just stop and take it seriously. I have to take some responsibility for this
Hmm.
now, or it just keeps getting worse and worse. And then you're on your deathbed and you
Hmm.
have all these regrets and you're alone. And
Right.
I should have
Yeah.
done things differently. And the whole idea of hindsight, I hope this conversation prevents the need for hindsight for a lot of
Hmm.
people because sometimes it is too late.
So ultimately, it comes down to take responsibility for your well-being.
Yeah.
Go
And
back into the family unit, to your marriage, look at what is happening, what needs to happen so that this works, so that we are happy together, so that we have this beautiful, thriving relationship, and we can model that onto our children as well. So what needs to happen? So I think, as you said, the society is dealing with all of these problems, but for us to help and to contribute, and redirect where it's going, we have to take responsibility for ourselves and our own marriage, our own family.
and
And that's how we
hope.
will cripple, the cripple effect is going to be the society in the end.
Yeah, and hope that we can replicate what our grandparents did. If we can hold our marriage together and show our kids that it can be done, it's hard work, then maybe they'll do it. And maybe then their kids, and we start to change the divorce rates back in the opposite direction.
Mhm.
So I'm conscious of our time now, but do you have any last words to say? This has been a great conversation. I like getting it off my
Mhm.
chest.
Mhm.
But do you have any last words around the idea of just striving for success in women? Is it
Mhm.
necessary? What is the price to pay? There's
Mhm.
clearly a price to pay.
Mhm. Yeah. So you see, like, I'm not against women that are gifted with skills, with aptitudes, they're have ideas and they're capable, right? Was like they learn and so fast, just get on it and it turns out amazing. So I know I'm one of those, right? So I'm not against being able to create something beautiful. But I think there is a recipe for that to be successful and to be valued for the family, for the society. So if you build yourself a resilient person, which means you worked on your past, your wounds, your forgiveness, whatever insecurities, and inside you're at peace with yourself, with your past, with your present, with people around you. You can come to this level of, I don't have negative thoughts. I don't judge myself. I don't need to be anybody certain, like certain way for anybody. I just need to be myself and bring the best I have into the world, into my family. And I would be successful also on that path if I have the right support, or if I have enough support, if I have my family's support, my colleagues, if there is support in place. So resiliency and support in place, I can be successful. We all can be successful. The family, the society can be successful, which also means there is no cost that is detrimental to your well-being and to your family's well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So if that recipe is respected, I think it can work.
So if you have a good plan in place
Hmm.
that also values your happiness,
Hmm.
then maybe we can limit the price or even eliminate the cost that we need to pay for success.
Exactly. Or it could be like a conscious, intentional cost that is uh, family proof, like accepted clearly. Because there's people that, women that wrote books and they're on tours, and obviously there is a cost, right? But the it's very intentional, is very conscious, and is planned for by the whole family and whoever needs to be involved, that is participating into that as something that involves them as well to some degree. That is again commonly agreed upon, well defined and planned and
Mm.
prepared for,
Yeah.
right?
So it's a cost we're willing to pay rather than a cost that we have to pay to be
Exactly.
successful.
And the family has to bear.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a good place to end, and
Mhm.
definitely a lot for people to consider here. I think probably that last line is powerful. There is a cost, whether or not you're willing to pay it or you're being forced to pay it. That's where the considerations have to come in.
Mhm. Absolutely. I agree.
Irina, this was brilliant. Thank you for your time today. Where can my followers follow you and find out more about what you do? And you also work one-to-one with people. If any of my clients feel like they need a bit of extra support, they,
Hmm.
I'm sure, could reach out to you.
Yeah. They can find me on Instagram, Irina Tarasenco. They can find my website if they are more interested in working with me as their psychologist, which I would be able to work with anybody living in BC and Alberta. And the website is irinatarasenko.com.
Brilliant. I'll put them below. Thank you for your time today. I hope your day is wonderful, and we will hopefully connect again soon.
Thank you. This was a great discussion. I really loved it and enjoyed it. Thank
Good.
you.
I hope so. I hope it got you thinking. You're like, maybe
Yes.
Shemaine is onto something now.
No, I can relate on so many levels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should just
with
go
how
back
you
to the
think.
80s. The 80s was the best
But
decade.
can we? Can we, Shemaine? Like, can we go back? We cannot go.
Um,
We can't go anywhere but forward
yeah.
from where we are. But
Unless Elon Musk comes up with like a time machine and starts selling tickets, maybe we can.
right. But for now, it's what it is. Like just
Yeah,
going forward and adapting and just being smart and wise and aware, and with full love in your heart with everything you do. So then that's the best I think we can do.
absolutely. And you exude that. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
your time today.
Thank you.